Hello and welcome back to the GPVWC and this Superlights turn to go around the Red Bull Ring in Austria. We're just getting towards the end of qualifying. Apologies for the late time in the coming on to the broadcast, but just to run you through what's happening, Jan Grandfist is at the moment on provisional pole. It's the smallest margin, so 0.084 seconds to Shimon Frelich. Adriano Opportuni, of course, only part-time this season so far. He's third for Ghost Speed, and Chris Butcher finally managing to get a qualifying lap together up into P4 as well. Lewis Picker second last time out, fifth in the second Royal Blue Racing. The big story at the moment, though, is that Luke Maguire, who is second in the championship, Frelich's closest challenger, is only P9 at the moment. 2 minutes 40 left. Here is Chris Butcher coming through turn 7 and then through 8, that fast chicane that saw so much drama in the F1 last weekend. So Butcher into turn 9, he's gone green twice and will pit, so he'll get another run in on a new set of tyres, I am sure of it, and I think that's what most people do at the moment. So you've joined just in time for the last salvo of qualifying as Poland gets a little bit leery through turn 4, and when we've got some of the front runners back out of the pits, we'll have a quick on-board lap, I'm sure, to take us through the Red Bull Ring, a lap of the Red Bull Ring. So Poland's, I'm expecting to pull in right here into the pit lane, and indeed he does. Just looking, Christian Pascal, 2 personal bests. Down in 18th at the moment for HG Esports Blue Bolt, and 2 personal bests, 17.1 through the first sector. That's fairly competitive actually, as he comes across the line up into P12, so that's good enough for a points position at the end of the race, of course. So not a bad lap for Pascal, but not quite what he's looking for. Still though, only 6/10 off the lead, so it's fairly congested. 1 second covers the top 20 drivers down to Fabian Pai, who's down in P20. Here is Luke Maguire then on an outlap, 10th at the moment, and he needs to do something a little bit more if he wants to challenge his championship rivals throughout the rest of the race. And he is on the softs now, so he wasn't on the softs at the start. We know that THR have gone for a harder tyre in qualifying throughout the season, and Luke Maguire wanting to get up the grid at the moment. But here is the provisional pole sitter as it stands on board then with Jan Grandfist, the Super Venturi, for a lap of the Red Bull Ring. Across the line to start the lap, uphill braking, brake as late as you dare into turn 1, sling it into the right. Don't run too wide, otherwise you get a bit of a swap of roast here like you did. Blast up the hill, DRS in tow as well. Turn 2, not really a corner, a bit of a kink to the left. Into turn 3, heavy braking again uphill, great opportunity for overtaking later on. Actually really nice there from Grandfist. DRS will be open again on the long run, downhill this time into turn 4, much different braking challenge. Kiss the curb on the right hand side, let the car drift out, and then get yourself back sharply for the run through turn 5 again, not really a corner. Turn 6, just an awesome corner, dropping away from you, blind apex. Turn 7, wide on entry, to really open the car up through turn 8, which is this right-hander. Blind over the crest then, before a downhill braking into turn 9, only a tap on the brakes, maybe a lift if you're really brave. Kiss the curb on the right hand side, over the curbs on the exit, kiss the curb on the right hand side for turn 10, that's the last one. Short lap and across the line. Grangfist does improve 2 purples and purple through sector 1, purple through sector 2, 105.532, but Frelic's gone purple now. Frelic's gone purple in the sector 2, so that's going to be close, although he's a little bit down in sector 1. What can he do through the final sector, through the final corner? Frelick goes slightly wide, really wide actually, and that will cost him surely. Frelick won't be able to jump into turn 1, no he won't. Butcher across the line next, not a great lap from Chris Butcher in the THR. Checker flags out now, the session will be done once everyone's finished their flying lap. Here's Ballet 21, he's got no rear wheel front wing, so he's had an issue at the moment. He will not start any higher than 21st. Who's on a lap at the moment? Luke Maguire got up into P3. Luke Maguire into P3 then, so still 2 tenths down, but ahead of Opportuni. Poom still on a lap, but not improving. He's down in 10th, and I think Poland's got up into P15, but will not improve. So that will be the grid done. A hectic end to qualifying sees Jan Grangfist, 6th in the championship at the moment, on pole for Super Venturi, Samuel Frelick. P2, he is the championship leader. Luke Maguire, his rival, P3 for THR. Adriano Opportuni, P4 for Ghost Speed. 5th, Chris Butcher with a much improved qualifying. He's in the fight alongside Lewis Bicker, 2nd last time out. Patrick Rozak, P7 on the grid alongside Roberto Pignataro for Ghost Speed, the 2nd Ghost Speed. So good showing for that team here. Michael Ayres is P9 for TR Geeks. And Heiger Poom in the top 10 for TTF. Fabian Shershik for Blackhawk, the first Blackhawk in P11 alongside Giuseppe Saracino. Then Sandeep Singh won't be too happy with that, I'm sure, down in P13 alongside Kristen Pascal. Pascal Poland's 3rd in the championship, only P15. Joseph Herlock, P16 alongside Luke Mitchelson of Stoffmill down there as well in 2nd TTF. George Sutton for Red Arrow, P19, and Tom Vandervoort, P20. Fabian Bal we saw in trouble in P21 with no front or rear wing. Mateusz Gazowski for P22 for Hyperion. Then is Chris Gitsov for Blackhawk, P23. Maxi Geisinger, P24. And then the final row of the grid is Remco Deserve with Oliver Perikian. We'll just take you through the championship standings, being as we did jump on late. So Frelick is currently at the top of the championship, 127 points coming into round 9. Luke Maguire is 2nd in the championship despite having 3 wins so far. He's 26 points behind. Pascal Polenz is a further 18 points behind. Then Lewis Bickers is P4. Nikbeka Lalu, P5, has only got 2 5th place finishes as his best result so far, so consistency key for Lalu's P5 in the championship. Grangfist is P6, 63 points off the championship lead. Sandeep Singh, P7. Chris Butcher is only 8th despite his teammate flying high. Heiger Poom, P9 with 2 podiums to his name, and Dylan Platt with that win earlier on in the season is in P10. In the teams, Royal Blue have a comfortable lead, 209 points to THR's 175, but then Motor Formula Racing a further 29 points back in P3. Super Venturi P4 ahead of Red Arrow, TR, HG Esports, Blackhawk, Mode and TTF in the top 10. So we will have a short break whilst we get ready for the race. It's going to be a really exciting one. We're expecting a one-stop race, maybe a few 2-stops in just to spice things up, and potentially a threat of rain as well, but we should be dry for the race. So fingers crossed, we'll have an exciting one. Get yourselves ready. We'll be back in around 5-6 minutes time. Hello and welcome back to round 9 of the Superlights season in GPVWC. We just had a manic qualifying session. We are just getting to the end of the driver's warm-up, and then we'll be going into the 58 lap race around the Red Bull Ring. Here is the schedule at the moment. We have already had San Marino, Bahrain, Australia, Portugal, Azerbaijan, Monaco, Canada and Great Britain in the first half of the season. Now we're into the second half of the season, Austria, and then Hungary, Belgium, Italy, Singapore, Japan, Mexico, all coming to a conclusion in Brazil, as is tradition, in November. And of course there will be a break after the Belgian Grand Prix as well, just like we did a few weeks ago. So yeah, as we said, 58 laps, as we said before the break as well, expecting a one-stop race. It is a marginal one-stop race, so maybe some people will try and risk a two-stop and blast through on fresher tyres. It'll be interesting to see. Tyre deg always makes racing interesting, as we've seen in Superlights. Usually all of the action starts kicking off at the end of the first stint. Now we'll be hoping that we avoid the first corner incidents that we had in the corresponding race last season, where we lost championship contender at the time, Alessandro Quintai, to a crash before the first corner. In fact, there was a start line crash, and it was wet last season as well. No worry about that at the start, at least. This year, potential for rain later on, but not a huge amount, to be completely honest. So should have a nice, dry, clean start. We have lost a driver from the server, by the looks of it. Just trying to see who that may be. Can't see Hygo Poom on the timing tower at the moment, and we are just starting the build up to the race. So let's see if Hygo rejoins by the time he gets to the grid. I don't think he is. So Hygo Poom had qualified P10. That will promote Shurchik into P10 on the grid, and he is the first of those on the medium tyres. They are off then on the formation lap. Let's take a look at the grid now that that's all been updated. Jan Grandfist is on pole for Super Venturi alongside championship leader Shimon Frelick for Royal Blue Racing. Luke Maguire P3 got it done at the end ahead of Adriano Puccini for Ghost Speed. Chris Butcher P5 much better in qualifying for the second CHR Lewis Pickers alongside second last time out in Silverstone. Patrick Rojak P7 alongside Roberto Pinataro. Michael Ayers P9 alongside Fabian Shurchik, who we just said has moved up in the absence of Hygo Poom. Giuseppe Saracino P11 alongside Sandeep Singh. Christian Pascal, and then Pascal Perlens, the two Pascals alongside each other, P13 and 14. Then Joseph Herlock P15 alongside Luke Mitchell in the drag. Jenna Stoffmill in the second TTF, or what is now the lead TTF, P17 alongside George Sutton. Tom Vandervoort for the second drag in P19 alongside Fabian Bayer. Mateusz Kozowski P21 alongside Chris Gitzoff. Maxi Geisinger P23. Renko Deserve P24. And right at the back on his own in P25, Oliver Parikian, who did have a penalty. It means that the Super Venturi's bookend the grid. So, there we go. There is the starting grid on the left-hand side. All of the tyre information you need to know. Sandeep Singh, Pascal Polens, expect them to challenge in the top 10 later on in the race. They are on the hard tyres to start with. Really interesting. Of course, the drivers who got through to the top 10 would have included Hygo Poom. If they qualified in the top 10, they would be forced to start on the same compound of tyre. That's why they're all on the softs, down to Michael Ayers, Grandfist, Frelick, Maguire, Opportuni, Butcher, Vickers, Rozak, Pinataro, Ayers, and then Shurchik and Saracino then on the mediums. So Grankvist pulls up to his grid spot. Everyone fairly punctual to the grid. And it will not be long until we are charging up to the first corner. Can we avoid any drama? There we go. Lights are on, engines up. Superlights in Austria is underway, and it's a good start at the front of the field from Grankvist. But look who's alongside already. Frelich challenging into turn 1, championship leader up the inside. Plenty of room given, and Grankvist will drag up. Meanwhile, THR 3 and 4 behind. Butcher passed Opportunity at the start. Really good start for the THRs, but still Frelich and Grankvist dragging each other up into turn 3. Frelich going to the outside this time. And look at that. Cheeky as you like, Luke Maguire into P2 then. Now they're going to be side by side, and Frelich is not going to be happy about that. Maguire then into P2. Frelich going to try and go around the outside into turn 4. We know this is a pinch point from previous seasons, and Maguire just about slots between the two of them. Fantastic racing from the top 3 already, who've already started to scarper from the rest of the grid. Butcher P4, Opportunity P5, Bickers 6, Rozak 7, Michael Hayes has got past Pignataro into P8, Surchek in P10 still, Pascal into P12 ahead of Singh, but they're still battling through 7 and 8. Fantastic stuff then to open up this race. As Surchek, a bit of smoke coming from the back, nothing to worry about at the moment though. That will just be a few little glitches in the system, I'm sure. So at the end of the first lap then, Grankvist from Maguire, Frelich, Butcher and Opportunity in the top 5, and it's all started to settle down at the start. About 9/10 between Grankvist and Maguire up the front, but that was really opportunistic stuff from Maguire. Started P3 up into P2 already, and Frelich just could not get past Grankvist despite having, as we got a bit of time. That's Rozak round. That's Rozak round. I think it, no, that's a mess. That's not what you want to see. That's not what you want to see. I think it was Pignataro going up the inside of Ayres into the turn 3 hairpin, and I think Pignataro just outbroke himself, tapped Rozak into a spin, and then Rozak rather got in the way, trying to right himself. I think he hit one of the dry cars in the process. Rozak has retired, I believe. Dry car was Mitchell, so Mitchell, and then there's a bystander in that. Someone else was involved. I think both of the modes actually, Geisinger and Barrier. So not what they needed at all. That means that Rozak's retired, but I imagine Pignataro, I think it was Pignataro, in the go speed, might get into a bit of trouble for that one. Bit clumsy up into turn 3. Back to the front though, to where the racing happened at the start, and Chris Butcher in the THR is all over the back of Frelich. So Frelich struggling for a bit of pace at the moment. Lap 3, DRS now available. And Frelich just holding on to that DRS, but Butcher's got the top speed at the moment. Jess closing in into turn 4, so Frelich managing to hold off for the moment, but the THR's looking fast. Grankvist in P1, 2 seconds ahead already, and checking out Maguire P2 for THR. And that's, I think that might be Pignataro off actually. Yeah, Pignataro into turn 6, that is, and rejoins just in P17. So an eventful start for Pignataro, who showed plenty of speed in qualifying to get into the top 10, but not the race he would have wanted so far, and it was definitely Pignataro who made contact with Rozak. Both modes, by the way, Geisinger and Balia, have both retired as well as a result of that contact earlier. So 3 retirements already, 22 still going. Mitchell and Deserve, I think, have pitted as well, so they're way off the back, about 20 seconds off the back of the pack. Grankvist P1, plenty of gap, although that gap has dipped under 2 seconds now from Maguire, so Maguire's still staying handy, but he's dragging Frelich and Butcher along. And to be fair, Opportunity sticking to the back of them. Butcher can't get the move done whilst Frelich has got the DRS. That's the key now. Has Frelich got the speed to catch and pass Maguire? Is he trying to stay back a little bit and protect the tyres? That will be what the interesting thing is through this race now, is what are people doing with their tyres? Are they conserving a little bit? Grankvist look as if he's checking out. Will he push and make potentially an earlier stop? do more conservative at the end. Will he make 2 stops? But he really has thrown a nest. 2.3 at the end of that lap. And then it's this train: Maguire, Frelick, Butcher, Opportuni, Bickers. I think Ayres is in there as Butcher goes wide at turn 1 in the turbulent air. So first crack there from one of the top 5. Then the next gap really is Ševčík to Ayres. That's the difference in the tyres for you. But Ševčík is about 3 seconds off the back of Michael Ayres. So this is that DRS train that we're talking about this time though. Frelick doesn't have DRS down the hill into turn 4. Maybe that's the first sign of an opening for Chris Butcher. If he can keep it together this time, not go wide at turn 1, then Chris Butcher could have a good chance. So yeah, that gap from Maguire to Frelick is now more than a second as Frelick takes a really extreme wide line. Oh, look at this bit of racing down the field. This is P12 Sandeep Singh, this is Herlock 13th, Poland's is the second white car there, P14, Stoffmill P15 as well, and behind them Herlock looked as if he was trying to get around the outside there into turn 6, and now he's actually having to slip back a little bit into the grasp of Poland's. But interesting to see how that sort of concertinas and then accordions back out, because now Poland's is the one who's defending, and that is from Senna Stoffmill and Perikian, who's up from the back of the grid as well. So plenty of speed in the second Super Venturi, and he's already challenging for a points position. So a reminder then, all of these other than Perikian are on the hard tyre, and Perikian dives to the inside of Stoffmill, the TTF going backwards, and Perikian into the points and P15 early on. Only on lap 6 he's already made his way from the back of the grid. That's 10 places for the Super Venturi. So Perikian into P15, now he'll have Poland's in his sights, and he just wants to make as much ground as he can with those medium tyres before the switch later on in the race. Gap from Maguire to Frelick then 1.1 seconds at the end of the previous lap, and that has stayed around the same, only a 10th difference. Butcher still with DRS, but now they're starting to catch the drivers who pitted at the end of the lap 2 melee, and that's gonna really spice things up here as we get DRS. Probably for defence. Butcher, what sort of traction can he get? That's the key thing. It's the traction out of turn 3. It's such a horrible corner to drive really over crest, and still crests as you're accelerating now down the hill. He's got better brakes by the looks of it at the moment, Butcher, but just hasn't got the top speed to trouble Frelick at the moment, or not enough of a speed delta, should I say. 2.6 up is the gap between Grandfist and Maguire at the top, and then really they're just sort of fanning out a little bit into a DRS train behind. Reminder, top 7 at the moment, the only ones on the soft tyre, so they'll be pitting early-ish. Now we're expecting maybe sort of 35 to 40 laps on those medium tyres. On the hard, sorry. So will they pit earlier and go to hards? Will they try and stretch these softs out and maybe go to a medium? And that's what everyone behind has the option of doing, is maybe going medium to hard, or maybe hard to soft at the end, and not conserving tyres as much. So Frelick there would have had DRS from the back marker, who I think is Deserve. Deserve, who has been lapped by the top 2 now, is in front of Frelick, harming his tyres of course, but giving him DRS to defend with, and that will just annoy Butcher a bit more as Frelick goes wide actually at T8. Frelick wide at T8, and that will give Butcher a chance onto the offensive now, but no way he'll make a move into turn 9, surely, no, absolutely not. And if there was anywhere for Frelick to make a mistake, that was probably the place. Because that just gave Butcher no chance really of making a move. There goes Deserve out of the way. Frelick then still pushing a little bit wide at turn 1, and but no DRS now for the rest of the lap, and Butcher will close up the hill through turn 2 to turn 3. Frelick feels the need to go defensive, sort of defends the middle of the track. drifting a little bit. Butcher can't do anything. DRS, so he's so much closer than he has been. He'll pull to the outside, Frelick defends inside. But they get closer touching Frelick really hard on the defence. Now they're pushing wide, they're going to be side by side down into turn 5, then into turn 6. But Butcher's got the inside line and Butcher will take third. It's a THR 2-3 at the moment. Down the field, I think Singh has made a move on Sutton as well, and Sutton's fighting back. Yeah, Singh was momentarily ahead, but I think Sutton's got back through into turn 4. So that's P11 for Sutton, P12 for Singh. Herlock's still ahead of Poland's in P13, and Perikian's still not able to make any move up. Look at this one, Frelick. All of a sudden, Opportunity's all over him, so maybe Frelick's starting to struggle with the soft tyres potentially. All of a sudden, big gap, 2 seconds from Maguire to Butcher in the THR. What can Frelick do with the DRS? Can he come back at the THR? And Opportunity as well dragging along, and to be fair, there's Bicker's not too far behind. Oh, Frelick's gone for it. Frelick with a dive bomb into turn 3, and that didn't work at all sideways. Did well not to make any contact with Butcher, and now that's putting him under all sorts of duress from Opportunity. To the outside, Frelick late on the brakes, covers it off. Can Opportunity duck back inside? No, he can't, and now all of a sudden Bicker's, Frelick's teammate, is all over the back of Opportunity, and around the outside it turns. That is audacious. Oh, that's stunning. That's brilliant work. Wow. That is incredible from Lewis Bickers up into P5. An Opportunity will not believe his luck there. He will be unbelievably annoyed at that. Because for all the world it looked like he was going to get turn 4, P4 at turn 4, and all of a sudden he's got the other roll blue going around the outside. I think Frelick's gone off again. Frelick's all over the place in a minute. Really unlike Shimon Frelick to be so erratic at the moment, but clearly losing the positions at the start have annoyed him. Remember, he was aiming to go around the outside of Grandfist into turn 3 at the start, couldn't make it happen, and he's gone backwards ever since. Lap 11 then, off 58, already flying through this race. Grandfist still leads from Maguire. That gap now is 2.3, so it's stabilised, and then 2.8 back to Butcher. So the front two are still quite a bit faster than anyone else on track. Last lap 108.76 for Grandfist, 108.71 for Maguire, 109.5 for Butcher. But that, of course, was with the small incident with Frelick. And look at this gaggle of cars. I think Singh has got past Sutton now, and Sutton ahead of his teammate Joseph Herlock might think about handing the position over instead of hampering him, because Herlock was following and now Singh's getting away, and Herlock's under pressure. Look, oh, it was a look, wasn't it? It was a look from Poland's into turn 9, and it didn't work for him at all. No, it didn't work for him at all, and Perikian's actually side by side with Stoffmill as well, so Stoffmill trying to get back into the fight, and now look at this, Poland's up inside into turn 1, that didn't work, and now he's going to be on the back foot up the hill as well. Where is Perikian in all of this? On the drag up to turn 3, can Poland's have a dive? He will have a look up the inside, he will have a look up the inside, contact between the two. Herlock forced wide, that probably wasn't on really. And now Herlock's having to defend. I think, to be fair, Poland's is going to try and give the place back, but Perikian's like, thank you very much, I'll take that. And look at that, Stoffmill as well into the points, forcing Poland's wide, and Poland's having made the move a bit clumsily, trying to do the moral thing and give the place back to Herlock, has ended up losing positions to Perikian and Stoffmill as well. So Perikian into P13, Herlock 14, Stoffmill 15, and Poland's, reminder, is third in the championship, and he's fallen out the points. Meanwhile, the two Royal Blues, I think Bickers has passed, yeah he is, Bickers has passed Frelick, and now Opportunity's going to have another look at the championship leader. It's a drama for the championship protagonist so far, and Opportunity backs out of the move around the outside. Frelick had the pace down the inside, but the traction for Frelick is poor again, and that's really putting him under pressure. Will he defend the inside? He was expecting to. Opportunity didn't have a look. Opportunity didn't look as if he's got the confidence at the moment on the brakes as those around him have. And Stoffmill's ahead of Herlock, is he? And he's looking at... Yeah, so Herlock down behind Polenz now, so what happened there? Stoffmill up into P14, Perikian with a gap now to Sutton about 1.7 and just can't break this DRS, but Stoffmill back into points and back past Herlock, who's fallen behind Polenz. So finally now Polenz gets that move done on Herlock, but lost the positions in the process. Frantic start. It was me saying that nothing would happen until the pit stops have been and gone, and yeah, already action all over the track because Michael Ayres first to pit. Michael Ayres is the first of the front runners to pit. He was P7, of course, and the last of those on the softs, and Michael Ayres is the first to jump on lap 13, the end of lap 13, start of lap 14. Decent pit stop, and he will come out in around P18. That's Christian Pascal making a move on Fabian Scherchik. So Pascal trying to follow Sartino up the order on that alternate strategy, and the HG makes his move into P8 and then gets a little bit slidey into turn 4. So Frelick seems to have regained composure slightly at the moment. He's in P5 with 7 seconds off the lead now. Crucially, about 2.5 seconds off Chris Butcher in third, so and maybe pitting. So maybe the theory that he was struggling on his tyres is ringing true there. So Frelick, second of the front runners to pit. A lap after Ayres, lap 15. His teammate continues and looked as if he had better pace as well. So this is crucial for Frelick. Let's see where he comes out. Will he come out in traffic? And will he be able to be pulled along with DRS as well? Because that could prove crucial to any undercut. That's onto the mediums. So that'll be a 2-stop almost certainly for Frelick. There's no way he's going to do 43 laps on a medium set of tyres. So a committed 2-stop then for Frelick, and he comes out in P17 as well. Oh, look at this! Oh, that's close. Ooh, yeah, Sutton just about squeezed onto the grass there by Perikian, who's now at the head of this field. So Perikian managed to reel him in. Sutton's trying to fight back in to turn 6. That's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. And Stoffmill will fancy a bit of this as well. Stoffmill in P12. So obviously these have advanced because of the pit stops. But Stoffmill in P12 at the minute is Maguire pit and Granqvist, both of the top 2 pit. Let's see what they do. Remember, Frelick onto the mediums, and Granqvist and Maguire will exit on. Well, for a start, Granqvist and Maguire are going to come out right behind this group, and that is mediums for Granqvist. And they've got a lot of rubbish to get through. Yeah, when I say rubbish, I mean traffic, because there is all sorts going on in front of them, and that could cost them a lot of time here. Especially if you're Chris Butcher and Lewis Bickers looking at this, you want to get on with the job up the road. You're going about a second a lap faster than these people. And get on with it straight away. Look at this, Granqvist trying to make his move. He got past Herlock, he's going past Sutton into P10. He's got Polenz, Stoffmill, Perikian, Single in front as well. A lot of traffic to get through. This is crucial for the race now. Butcher was about 3 seconds down, 4 seconds down. He can really get on with the job here at the moment, although they're not that fast up front. They're not that fast up front. 110 last time round for Butcher, actually. There's Bicky's pits this time. So that is just the soft tyres falling off a cliff at the moment for the guys who started in the top 10, and Granqvist now is in all sorts of traffic. Let's see where Bickers comes out in relation. Bickers had some decent pace compared to the rest around him, but there's gonna be a big gap. It's going to be a big gap between Bickers and Granqvist. So still plenty of speed for Granqvist on his outlap, and that keeps him the lead. Where is Luke Maguire in comparison? Yeah, Luke Maguire still got Sutton, Herlock and Gazowski between himself and Granqvist as Granqvist goes past Polenz. So this has worked out horrifically for Luke Maguire. The gap is going to be some 3 seconds now. We'll probably lose a second or two through this phase of the race just because of how the traffic has worked out. He's got Frelick behind about a second. Ayres is only a second off as well now, so Ayres has played himself in with an early stop. There's Guzowski, who has been overtaken by Maguire now, and Frelick's the next to come, but look at that stream of cars that separate the top two. Maguire looking down the inside into turn 9, that's brave, but that's what fresher tyres will do. Great move from Luke Maguire, race critical. He's on hards, Maguire is though. So that's the first change between the top two. So Granqvist on mediums, but that's Maguire on hard. So already a change of strategy. Let's see how that one plays out. Again, it's still an ask, isn't it? 42 laps, at least on those hard tyres. Can he get to him, especially if he's pushing that hard? Granqvist, crucially, past Perikian. His teammate wouldn't have made it hard, and Granqvist has got a little bit of clean air now until he gets to Sandeep Singh, and then another 3 seconds to Christian and Pascal. Maguire though behind has got issue. He's got Poland, Stoffmill, and then the Super Venturi of Perikian to get to, but there's a bit of gap before he gets there. Still Senna, Stoffmill though fighting those around him as well. It's been fantastic. It's been breathless across the first 18 laps of this race. At the end of this one, we've got 40 left to go. THR must be confident of their tyre wear because Butcher's still going, so is Opportunity. They're the only two who started on the softs yet to pit. Butcher's still going and back into the 109s as well, so still faster than Perikian, for example. Way slower than Granqvist, 2 seconds slower than Granqvist. So get that, but then you're going to get the tyre offset at the end of the race. If they're doing the same strategy as Granqvist, that is. And Maguire, look, he's got moves going on ahead of it. Oh no. Oh no. Well, that was a gift for Maguire. That was an absolute gift. That was like the seas parting for him. Poland's steaming up the inside for the second time at turn 3 and just taking Perikian off the road with him. Good news is that there is no damage for those two. The Perikian will be so unhappy with that. Stoffmill up into P8 then on the road. That's the net, of course, as Sherchik retires from the race. He was up in the top 10 early on, so Sherchik has retired. But yeah, Stoffmill now has got Frelick between himself and Perikian. Frelick should make it easily past with the fresher tyres. But Perikian P10 as Opportunity now does pit. Butcher continues. Still going. Opportunity's got a little bit of a tyre offset. Oh, who was that? Was that Maguire off? Stage right, stage left, depending on which way you're looking at it. Yeah, Maguire way wide at turn 1. That'll be a track limit. Oh, look at that behind as well. That's Bickers trying to make his way through this. Is that a double move? He's trying a double move, and he just got pinched at the apex. Now we're going to be 3 wide down. That's going to. How aware is Poland's on the outside? The Sutton was on the inside. It just about got away with it, and Poland's defending hard from Bickers. Bickers didn't like that, and look how much he squeezes on the outside. Fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing. Bickers does make it through eventually with the fresher rubber. And Poland's powerless to resist. Back into the clutches of George Sutton. So those yet to pit, oh, as I say that, Butcher does pit now on lap 20. That should be an easy one stop for Chris Butcher in the THR. That's interesting. So Tarantino continues, obviously starting on the mediums and Pascal hard, Singh hard. And then you got your leaders, Granqvist, Maguire, Frelick. Stoffmill still hasn't pitted, he's on the hards. Perikian still hasn't pitted, he's on the mediums. Bickers is net 4th then. Ayres an Opportunity have jumped Butcher because he's gone long. But Butcher's on a completely different strategy now. It'd be fascinating to see how that works its way through the race. George Sutton pits as well. He comes up P15 behind Chris Gitzoff. A reminder, 3 retirements earlier on, Sumo, Auto Concept and Hyperion, Geisinger Bala and Rozak, and that all came from contact with Pignataro, between Rozak and Pignataro into turn 3 early on. Jan Granqvist has found the next victim on the road. Is Sandeep Singh still yet to pit on the hard tyres. Medium tyres for Jan Grandqvist, faster by a long way. Around the same lap time last time, but this should be like taking candy from a baby. Up the inside into turn 3. Yeah, not even disputed by Sandeep Singh, who I'm sure will be happy enough just to take the DRS and drag himself along behind at the moment. Grandqvist, by the way, as he was fighting his way through a 107.019 a few laps ago. It's the fastest lap of the race so far. Rick Maguire's best, 107.804. Frelick's done a 107.5, so Maguire's the slowest of the three. He's taking absolute best lap times, but he has been fighting his way through, and he is, of course, through now into P5. Here's Prix. Michael Ayres behind. And Prix still behind Poland, having been taken off the road by Poland, as Saracino pits now at Saracino pits then lap 23 for the medium tyre. So if you're using that, you're looking at maybe 25 laps by the time the fuel's gone down a little bit on Grandqvist. So maybe lap 39 will come into the pits, and it'll be interesting to see what tyre he takes there. Meanwhile, Michael Ayres, who has pitted, going past Oliver Parikyan, of course started at the back of the grid, remembering the Superfund Jury, but easy enough for Michael Ayres into P9. Polenz still on the back of Lewis Bickers. Despite Bickers having pitted, Polenz hasn't pitted yet, but hanging on nicely with that DRS, and that's pulling him down. Remember, this is going to change for him later in the race. He'll swap onto a softer tyre on the alternate strategy, and then he might be able to burst his way through. So points very much on offer for Polenz, even though he hasn't pitted. Same goes for Parikyan. And Pascal, who's up top of the field at the moment. Saracino, having pitted, came out at P13 and isn't a million miles away from Chris Butcher. Some 5 seconds away from Chris Butcher, so that's an impressive opening stint from Saracino. That really is impressive to get into that sort of range. Grandqvist though now challenging for the lead on the road. We know he's the net leader having pitted, but Grandqvist challenging for the lead on the road with Christian Pascal to get to pit. And this crucially gets through as quickly as possible, because we know he's going to stop again. We don't know if Maguire's going to stop again yet. So Maguire P4, currently about 4 seconds down on this battle. Pascal continuing, of course, on the hard tyres, and Grandqvist should make this pretty easy. Won't make it into turn 1. Sets up the traction out of turn 2, through turn 2, this kink to the left, and this should be pretty easy as Parikyan now pits off his medium tyres. He got 24 laps in. Pascal doesn't fight it too hard, almost contact on the pinch point at the exit, at the apex, but an exit easy as you like really. Pascal though, plenty of straight line speed with the DRS fighting back around the outside, and yeah, in the end it was easy enough for Grandqvist, but that could have been dangerous. That could have been really dangerous with Pascal going around the outside. Pascal though will be happy to take the DRS and to just drag himself along, even if it's down the main straight, but already like 8 tenths, 9 tenths as the tyre wear hinders him. So Maguire now 3.6 off the lead, that is Grandqvist. So he's lost about a second and a half through the pit stop phase and battling through, but on a different strategy. Pascal Singh, Stoffmill, Polenz, Gitsov, the only drivers not to have pitted yet, deserve pitted twice, pitted for damage repairs at the start, and he's a lap down at the moment. Here is Shimon Frelick behind Sandeep Singh, and needs to get through. Needs to get through really. as quickly as he possibly can, because Maguire's up the road, and Frelick also pitting early, also onto the mediums, also probably on a 2-stop. Around the outside of Singh, and Singh fights hard on the inside and keeps the position at the moment. Frelick a bit of understeer at the apex, sliding wide a little bit and couldn't get moved on, and that'll hurt him. That'll really hurt him. That means that Maguire is going to be, 2 seconds down the road at the end of this lap at least. Pirikin update, rejoined in P19. He's just got past Pignataro, and will be hoping to fight his way back into the points, but a good effort so far from Pirikin. Meanwhile, Frelick back up the front, looking for P4 from Sandeep Singh. Of course, it's P3 net on the road, as Maguire's got into DRS range of Pascal as well. So the real top 3 are going to be in the top 3 anytime soon, you feel. In fact, there is, look at this, Singh though defending to the inside, and again Frelick wide. And again Frelick struggling for traction out of turn 3. Meanwhile, up ahead, Luke Maguire to the inside of Pascal. This should be easy enough. And it is for Maguire. So Maguire into P2, and now only 3 seconds off Brankfist. Clear road, hard tyres, different strategy, going to be interesting. Frelick though still cannot get past Sandeep Singh. What on earth is going on? It's because Sandeep Singh has actually got an incredible top speed. He's only about 1 kilometre an hour slower at the moment than Frelick, and that's without DRS. So, and Frelick, that is a massive moment through turn 9 over the curve. He did well to hold it, but he's lost vital time. Won't be able to make a move into turn 1. Can he set up the exit of turn 1 to get the run up into turn? You can see though, he's pushing a bit too hard. He's just overdriving at the moment, sliding wide, and costing himself time on the exit of the corner. This is a lunge. Big lunge from Frelick. Wide at the corner, and Sandeep Singh says, "Thank you very much, I will retake that position. Doesn't matter if I'm on older tyres, harder tyres. I'll still have it." And you can tell Frelick's getting frustrated at the moment. Behind Opportunity on Polenz. Opportunity on fresher tyres, of course, but goes way wide at turn 4. Got that all wrong, and Polenz goes back through. So how long can we expect the likes of Pascal, Singh, Stoffmill, Polenz to go on these hard tyres? Well, look, we're looking at 40 laps maybe, but they might go earlier and then blast on a set of mediums as well. It'll be interesting to see as Frelick attacks Singh again. This time doesn't go for the dive bomb up in the inside at turn 3, but still doesn't get the traction that he needs to have a pop into turn 4. And Singh is defending over. There's contact this time. A nudge of the front wing from Simon Frelick into turn 4, and Chris Butcher's up inside of Michael Ayers as well at the same corner, and that's a lot cleaner. Butcher into 10th on those hard tyres, and he'll go to the end surely. He is only 14 seconds off Brankfist at the moment as well, so really intriguing to see how that plays out through the race. Lapping around the same, if not slightly faster at the moment. So see how tyre life lasts for the THR, but that was a pretty easy move on Michael Ayers as it was, and now he's got Opportunity and Polenz ahead. Opportunity has pitted, Polenz hasn't. Frelick still behind Sandeep Singh. He will be infuriated behind the wheel. And just not close enough to send one up the inside at the moment. And when he was close enough, he got the braking slightly wrong, and Singh came back at him. So seeing to turn 4 this time, contact this time last lap. And not close enough at all actually. So Singh has got some really good pace at the moment. Still doing a 1:09.0. He's only 0.2 off his fastest lap at the moment. That's without DRS. That's on 30 lap old tyres, so a stonking job really from Singh and from Pascal as well, who's still in the 108 up ahead on the hard tyres as well. Really impressive stuff from those two. They're third and fourth on the road. They won't be once they've made their pit stops, but I'm sure they'll be very punchy towards the end of the race on some softer tyres, and that is Singh, as I say that, going wide at turn 10, kicking up a bit of dust on the exit, and that really then allows Frelick to smell the blood. Oh, and who's that coming out of the pits at the same time? I think it might have been Luke Mitchell. He was another one who was caught up in the carnage earlier on, and Luke Mitchell coming out at the worst possible time. Frelick still not close enough. And then you can see, look how much he's squirreling under power. Poland's Opportunity side by side. Opportunity through for go speed into P8. Butcher's right there as well. Frelick still not close enough to get past Singh, and this traction is killing him. The traction is killing him, and Mitchell is going to cause a bit of trouble surely on them fresher tyres as well. Coming out of the pits, 31 laps, or on lap 31, so well past halfway now. Already it's flown past just before the time of Sherchik, Geisinger, Bala and Rojak deserves a lap down. Potentially a few more actually, 2 laps down. And who's that into the pits? That is Poland's this time. So Poland's the first of the hard tyre runners to blink. Let's see where he comes out. And meanwhile, Singh's still ahead of Frelick. And yeah, Mitchell is right there with him as well. And Frelick again just struggling on traction in comparison to Singh. Poland's, by the way, out in P14 behind Sutton, but with much fresher tyres, so that will get punchy. Van der Voort, in fact, goes through as well in the other drag. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Poland's can do from there. But also, do you think about where where Pascal and Singh are in the road? They're going to come out already in the points and pretty punchy on a set of softer tyres. So just running through the top 10 at the moment, lap 32. Grangfist from Maguire 3.8 now, so Grangfist has started to stretch that gap out, but is expecting another pit stop. We're unsure about Maguire at the moment, as that's Frelick wide, isn't it? So Mitchell will probably try and get through and unlap himself on Frelick. No, he stays back, but that's cost Frelick valuable time. So Grangfist, Maguire on different strategies. Grangfist on mediums, Maguire on hards, and Pascal and Singh yet to pit, starting on hard tyres. Shema Frelick having an erratic day so far. Also has another pit stop, we believe. There's Bickers behind P6. Shona Stoffmill hasn't pitted, P7. Opportunity has pitted, P8, but potentially another pit stop for Go Speed. Butcher, we're expecting is one stop in P9 and doing really nicely on those hard tyres, and Michael is P10. Saracino P11, started on mediums, has gone to hards, potentially a one stop. Herlock, Sutton, Herlock and Sutton have been locked together pretty much all race long. And is this Frelick making his second stop? It is. Yeah, so Frelick making the second stop. Is that Mitchell back into the pits as well? So that could potentially be a penalty for Mitchell because he only just pitted. Frelick pits for the second time. So this is championship critical now for Frelick. He has to have a good stop and he has to fight through the rest of the race. It was a penalty for Mitchell, straight in and straight back out. And that's a set of hards then for Frelick. So he's gone soft, medium and hard, which makes me think that traction and that lack of grip has made him worry about mediums towards the end of the race. Now the fuel would have been going down, so he would have been less straining on his tyres. But yeah, that's a curious call from Frelick and Royal Blue. So championship leader then down at the moment in P11 on a wildly different strategy to anyone else, and struggling to make any go forward in this race. He's only gone backwards really. Meanwhile, championship rival Lick Maguire up in P2 at the moment, 4 seconds down the gap to Jan Grankvist, but we know that Grankvist has got another pit stop coming. You can see he's pushing a 108.1 on the last lap. That compares to a 108.3 for Maguire. Fastest man on the circuit though is Jan Grankvist at the moment, just showing how much he is pushing. Poland's now that he's made his stop, he's doing personal bests, 108, just going to 109s, but he's P14 past Van der Voort, and will no doubt be all over the back of Sutton. Yeah, in fact, 4/10 now is the gap as Grankvist slides through turn 7. He is pushing so hard. Won't be long until he pits up. Will not be long until he pits. Pitted on lap 14. So maybe lap 37, lap 38, we'll see the Super jury back in the pits, the race leader, and then it'll be a case of seeing what you can do from there. Probably top 5 definitely in the cards with that strategy, but really the interesting one is seeing where he comes out in relation to Chris Butcher, and Chris Butcher is 17 seconds off the pace now, but matching the time. Senna Stoffmill pits from the hard tyres, so that'll be a medium set tyres for sure. On the TTF racing, his teammate of course was 10th on the grid but didn't make the start, and that's a move from Butcher. No, he couldn't get it done. Butcher looking at opportunity though into turn 3, so Butcher's got pace. Butcher's got real pace on this one-stop strategy, unless he's deceiving us and he knew he couldn't get 2 mediums to the end. He's got pace and he's challenging opportunity, so now that that's all filtered through, Pascal and Singh still haven't pitted by the way. And Sutton's got a penalty. That's a disaster for Sutton. Sutton gets a penalty. That'll drop him out of the points for sure. Gazowski into oh, and that's Grankvist in the pits then. Yeah, so it was lap 37, well, end of lap 36, start lap 37. Grankvist into the pits, Singh into the pits as well to finish his first stint. And that's hard for Grankvist as well. We'll check that that's not a glitch in the system, but that doesn't make an awful lot of sense. I mean, yeah, he can lean on him. He can push his tyres as hard as he wants, but medium should have got him there. No, he did it. I mean, this stint is going to be shorter than the medium stint he's just done. So interesting to see that from Grankvist onto the hards. But now it is absolutely quality laps all the way through on those hard tyres. P7 he's come out in, so he's got airs to get through. He's 3 seconds off airs. He's got airs to get through. Definitely Butcher, won't be pitting. And also on hard tyres, but much older. Opportunity to get through Bicker's pits, so that helps. So still probably a podium, isn't it, for Grankvist? The way this is going, it's all down to the THRs though. What do the THRs do? Will Maguire pit again? Butcher's all over the back of opportunity this time. This should be easy up into turn 3. Outside of turn 2 he's already passed before the braking zone, but that gives opportunity the chance to just widen the apex, get a bit of traction and get the DRS down the hill into turn 4, but I think Butcher's got it sewn up, to be completely honest. And that's Butcher into P3. Stanley Singh, by the way, re-emerged P9. So Singh's ahead of Bickers with that strategy. Herlock pits and drops out the points as it stands. Here is Bickers actually. Bickers alongside Singh, who's got more pace. They are both on the same tyre. And Bickers hangs it out around the outside of turn 4, down the inside into turn 6, and Singh's going to try and tough it out around the outside. They're still side by side. Singh thought about it through turn 7, that would have been really risky, and Bickers up into P9 then. And defender into turn 9? Yeah, he did think about it, but came back to the racing line and he should scamper down the road. So I think he's got a bit more pace on those medium tyres and things. So Bickers, Singh, Poland, Stoffman on the mediums. now to the end of the race. Kozowski also on the mediums, potentially needing to pit though. The top 8 all on hard tyres. There's Ayres, you've got Grankvist behind, Grankvist lunging behind, Opportuni, just that cork in the bottle now for these guys. Pascal still hasn't pitted. That's an incredible stint. So it's 39, probably 40. He might even go on to the softs. You might think about it. We've seen him do it before. Go hard soft. Pascal for HG Esports has been a stunning race for him so far. Saracino pitted once. He also for HG in the top 10. He's down in P7. But Frelick and Bickers will have something to say about that, no doubt. Frelick about 7 seconds off at the moment. Jan Grankvist, fastest first sector time of the race that time around. Jan Grankvist passed Michael Ayres into P5. Pretty easy move in the end, up the inside into turn 1, but Ayres is going to fight back by the looks of it. No, he thinks better of it. I think he knew that that wasn't where his fight was. And so now Grankvist up into P5. Opportunity ahead, P4. No, Pascal's got to pit. What sort of lap times Maguire? Maguire's still doing 108.4, so he's still matching Grankvist at the moment. The gap between the leader and Grankvist is 16 seconds. And even if Maguire does pit now, he's still going to have a tyre delta to attack with. Here's Grankvist looking at Opportunity, who sort of faked to move to the inside in defence, and he's just defending thin air a bit. Don't want to be doing that. DRS so handily for Opportunity because he's got Butcher ahead. Doesn't matter one bit. Grankvist flies through. Might have been on the overtake there, and yeah, easy enough for Grankvist to get. So Grankvist into P4, 16 seconds off Maguire. It's about 23-24 seconds for a pit stop. So if Maguire did pit, he'd have a lot to do, but he'd have fresher tyres and potentially a softer step in the compound range as well. Butcher's the interesting one here on the one stop. Can he hold Grankvist up? Is there anything he can do? Much older tyres at the moment. He's got DRS at the moment though from Christian Pascal, who still hasn't pitted. And that will give Butcher something to defend with at least. But we saw how fast Grankvist was up in the straight line, and he's flying. Look how much grip he had out of turn 1. This could get close between all three of them. Butcher having a look up inside, but I think that was more an attack in order to defend, and Grankvist is all over him at the moment. Pascal's going to have to defend. Grankvist trying to make it 3 wide into turn 4. This is stunning racing. Just about squeezes through Grankvist, then Butcher, and Pascal goes down to 4th. That was tight. That was really tight, and Butcher hasn't got any response. Look how fast Grankvist is. I tell you what, if Maguire isn't pitting again, 17 laps left, 16 laps left. Yeah, 16 laps left. This could be close at the end if Grankvist has got that much speed. I mean, he's a whole 8 tenths up in the first sector on that lap alone. He was battling last lap, and he was 1.1. Oh, it's a 1:06.9. It's by miles the fastest lap of the race. In comparison, Maguire 1:08.5. It's not even close. 12 seconds the gap now. It's doable. It's absolutely doable. Remember social media, hashtag GPVWC, hashtag Superlights. Discord's open as well if you want to join the community. For Racing Championships, as always, plus the Academy. We've got Super League coming up on Thursday, the big one. Yellow's in Sector 2, so who has run into trouble? think it might have been deserved. This is the battle for the final position in the top 10. Is Pascal Polenz ahead of Senna Stoffmühl? I think Ayres might have had an issue there because Ayres has dropped behind Saracino and a long way off the battle he was in. He was up with opportunity. Oh, that's Maguire in the pits. So the answer was Luke Maguire couldn't one stop from where he pitted, but he's on the medium tyres now. He's come out in 5th, so he's going to be about 10 seconds off the lead, maybe a bit less than that. But Maguire racy towards him. We saw Grandfist was flying. This could be even faster for Maguire. It was soft tyres, by the way, for Pascal. So he has gone hard to soft. Opportunity then up into P3 on the hard tyres. Grandfist then. Now that we've sort of got some sort of an order, we'll run you through. Grandfist P1, Butcher P2, Opportunity 3rd, Saracino 4th, having made a strategy work, possibly get to pit again, depending on what his tyre wears. Like Luke Maguire's just pitted onto mediums, he's P5 and will be rapid. Frelick's had a miserable race really, but he's still P6. Michael Ayres dropping down a little bit, P7. Lewis Bickers in the second World Blue P8. Sandeep Singh on the alternate strategy P9, and Pascal Polen's teammate P10. But Senna Stoffmühl is all over the back of him, and Pascal on soft tyres is all over the back of Stoffmühl as well. So Pascal looks as if he's going to get into the top 10. All things well. Van der Voort we think has got a pit stop left, but he's P13 for drag racing. Herlock back into points P14, and there is Van der Voort pitting as I say that. Herlock then up into P13, gets off P15 because obviously we'll move up as well. That's Maguire past Saracino and pretty simply into turn 4 with DRS and plenty of late braking on the fresher tyres. Lap 45 of 58, and it has just been breath of stuff really from the word go. Grandfist and Frelick side by side into turn 1, into turn 3. Frelick got bumped out, that allowed Maguire into P2, and then Grandfist really got on with it as Stoffmühl goes wide at turn 6, and that allows Polenz into P11. I think it's because Pascal actually in the softs must have made a move on both of them. Maguire 106.5, miles faster than anyone else. Ayres pits from P8, but Pascal then into top 10. Polenz and Stoffmühl shuffle down, and probably then Stoffmühl going wide, trying to make something of Pascal going past Polenz. So Ayres down into P12. That's Polenz back into the top 10 for the moment. Pascal into P9 and will be rapid. So as we were saying, Maguire got into P2 early on, and Frelick just into freefall really. So the two stop getting him back into P6 with a bit of pace on his new tyres. But it'll be interesting to see if he can get up to Saracino. He's about a second, 1.4 seconds faster, gets off pitting from the final points position for Blackhawk. Nick Maguire pushing as hard as he can. That gap now is down to 7.2. And interestingly, he's pulling Perikian, who's a lap down. He's pulling Perikian along, who's a Super Venturi, and I'm not going to suggest that there's going to be any team games there, but it's the last car that Maguire would want to see in his mirror. Yeah, Opportunity's been the roadblock so far with Butcher, but he's got good enough pace. Opportunity 108.3. He's faster than Butcher up ahead. He's faster than Saracino. But still almost 2 seconds down on Maguire. So if Maguire can get past Opportunity at the first time of asking, Butcher's not going to put up any fight, surely. And then it's just a case of how quickly can he close into Granfist, then put 2 now the gap. Still flying down 6.9, so under 7 seconds now. Opportuni though has got the DRS from the THR of Chris Butcher, so that's going to make stuff difficult for Maguire. What can THR do here to help? Because they can't get Butcher to like completely block Opportuni out, but that DRS is giving Opportuni a defense mechanism. On board with Maguire. Look how smooth the steering inputs are even at this stage of the race. I know he's got the fresher tyres, and he's pushing so hard, but it's still so effortless through all of these corners. I mean, look at that one input, smooth as you like. So Granfist now under 6 seconds ahead of Butcher. And now Maguire's right on the back. This should be pretty easy. Let's see how much Opportuni defends. It is for a podium position, remember, but the fresher tyres means that there is nothing that Opportuni can do, but maybe he can follow with Maguire. Right into the closing stages, and there is the move then that sees Maguire go past Butcher, and now the chase is on. But he lost a bit of time. Gap at the line was 7 seconds, so he didn't make anything. 107.6, he was actually 4/10 slower on that lap, and now he can just get on and go. Butcher can act as a roadblock, he won't try and make a move. And Opportunity's there just hunting for a podium in the ghost speed. Saracino still P5. Beautiful race from him so far. Frelick down 4 positions off his grid spot in P6. Bickers P7. Singh P8 up 4. Pascal up 4. P9. Stoffmill up 7. P10. Fantastic race for him as well. Gazowski at the moment in the final points position. P15. 6 places up. Van der Voort 5 places up in the drag. P14. Plenty of stories up and down the grid. Pignataro down 9 with the contact. He had 2 big problems, big Pignataro. But up front, let's have a look at the gap. No, Maguire's still a 10 slower. I think Granfist has got this sorted. Maguire now starting to get a bit twitchy as well with car. And I've got a feeling this is because Granfist had a little bit of traffic ahead of him over the last few laps, but it meant that he had DRS as well, which was crucial. Saracino, by the way, has just done his personal best lap of the race, which is pretty sensational. Stoffmill's past Prolens, don't know if I mentioned, but Stoffmill's past Prolens into the top 10. There's Gitsov getting out of the way of, I think that might have been Perikian going through in the Super Venturi. Yes, it was. So Perikian up into P18. It looked good for Perikian earlier on, but for getting into the points after a stellar first stint, but it just sort of slips away from him a bit. Doesn't look like there'll be points 11 seconds up to Pignataro. Ahead. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. 7.8. Yeah, look. Maguire 2/10 faster on the last lap. So maybe there is life in it yet, but the problem is his time is quickly running out. It's not going to be enough. Granfist then committed early to a 2-stop. That looks like it's going to get him the win. It's Granfist from Maguire. Butcher P3 for THR. It's a good day for THR in the Teams Championship. very good day, and they were some 34 points down on Royal Blue. Royal Blue at the moment only P6 and P7, second and third. Good for THR, but Grandfist at the moment out in front alone. And a lot fat, and yeah, look, he's 8/10 faster in the middle sector, so I think Maguire just leaning on those tyres, maybe starting to pay the price now for that early stint he had to push though. And Butcher's still with him as well, that's the thing. Butcher's still pretty much with him. Frelick now though, chasing Saracino for P5. That would be good for Frelick. Here is the THR gaggle, if you like, and he was a bit wide from Butcher. He got a bit close to his team. Asking good opportunity. Every opportunity into turn 3. Butcher commit early to the inside line. Opportunity to the outside. That's going to get closer to 2 THRs. Oh, he just about avoids him. He's had to really square off the corner though. How can Opportunity take advantage into turn 4? Meanwhile, behind Frelick past Saracino into the same corner, and Opportunity late on the brakes, down around the outside into turn 4, and he's just about going to get it done. Butcher then on the older tyres, trying to hang it on around the outside, won't get it done. And just as I said, it was a good day for THR and a bad day for Royal Blue. Oh, Frelick's actually lost back out to Saracino, but I was going to say Frelick had made his way up into P5. And Butcher dropping off the podium. 5 laps to go, and then Grandfist with a big lead now, 1.4 seconds faster on the last lap over Maguire. That is done and dusted, so unless anything happens to Grandfist, I am trying not to give a commentator's curse. Grandfist will win this race. Maguire P2 at the moment. Ahead of Puccini, who made that move. Butcher, and this is the closest battle on the track, is Frelick for P5, trying to make a move, and this is pretty simple actually, with DRS up the inside into turn 3, late on the brakes. Can he get it stopped? Yeah, he can, but now Saracino, nice little run, and he'll have the DRS this time. And Saracino fight back. It looks like Frelick's got the legs on him. And he has. This time that should be Frelick into P5 for good. And now Bickers will try and follow. And Grandfist then has had issues with his pedals over the last few races. Hasn't been able to take part. 6th in the championship, 63 points off. He's had 1 win so far this season. It looks like it's going to be win number 2. For the Super Venturi, still plenty of time to go though, 4 laps to go. But that gap now is almost 10 seconds. It's Grandfist to Maguire. That challenge has completely faded away. Behind Saracino and Bickers and Sandeep Singh, only 3.7 off that, and with fresher tyres, trying to close in on that battle. Christian Pascal, P9. Serge Stoffmill, a long way off in P10, but then as Polenz has pitted again. Peters into P11, so Polenz down into P12, Herlock in P13, Van der Voort 14, and Gazowski with a nice buffer back to Pignataro in P15. That's your points positions at the moment. 21 still running, so despite the chaos at the start, they actually haven't had too much of an attritional race. Butcher's still trying to fight back against Opportunity, but surely he can't do too much with the tyres he's got. It wasn't a bad shout at a 1-stop strategy. It seemed like the obvious, but the 2-stop just sort of evolved into the better decision as the race progressed. But on the way up the hill, and he's still got DRS, which is crucial. That keeps him in with the sniff. I'm way late on the brakes. We've seen that from the THRs all the way through. They've been so good on the brakes compared to the opposition. But Opportunity's just got that bit better traction out the corners. As Sutton gets past Pignataro into P16. So Sutton trying to fight back. He had a penalty earlier on. He was well in the top 15 with his teammate Joseph Herlock, but the penalty took him out of contention. But he's up into P16, best of the rest. Butcher actually a bit closer this time round than he was last time. to Opportuni, so still a bit of a sniff there. Maguire finding a bit of pace compared to Granqvist, although the Granqvist just sort of used a bit of the tyre to fend the challenge off. A bit more traffic as well. He's got Deserve in front, he's got Gazowski, and Maguire's going to have Pinataro and Sutton in front of him. And this is Bickers all over the back of Saracino for P6. So Frelik's got traffic in front of him. Frelik has got Gitsov in the Blackhawk in front of him. He's got DRS and he's pulling along, unfortunately for him, Saracino. That is Gitsov getting out of the way there, so that's pretty good driving from Gitsov. So Bickers trying to get his way past Saracino. Can Saracino hang on to the DRS of Bickers' teammate? Yes, he can. To do something about it. Did Frelik get held up a little bit there? Because Saracino looks a bit closer than he had been. Frelik had been starting to pull away slightly. Meanwhile, down the field, Perikian who had the penalty. That's why he didn't do too much in quali. So it's just on the fastest lap, but we're on to the final lap then of a breathless Austrian Superlights. Jan Granqvist is well on his way to a second win of the season. Butcher is still fighting Opportuni, and he's still struggling for traction out of turn 3. Trying to sneak onto the podium is Butcher. For THR to make it a 2-3. Look how late he is on the brakes into turn 4. Can't get anything done there. And that should pretty much be it. But look at this, into the final 2 corners. In the end, the strategy proved to be absolutely perfect for the Super Venturi. Jan Granqvist pretty easily, in the end, takes the Austrian Superlights with a commanding performance. Superb stuff from Jan Granqvist, second win of the season, and reignites his title challenge. Luke Maguire, second for THR, pretty good race as well, up into the podium, and Adriano Opportuni hasn't done the full season, but a fantastic ride in the Go Speed P3 ahead of Butcher. Frelik 5, followed quickly by Saracino, great race for him, and Frelik's teammate Bickers. Single come across the line next, ahead of Pascal and Stoffmill to round out the top 10. Great race for Stoffmill as well, having started down in P17. Michael Ayers P11 ahead of Pascal. Polenz, who set the fastest lap on the penultimate lap. There's some donuts for the winner, and rightly so. And yeah, it was pretty faultless drive from Granqvist, no mistakes. Dealt with the Frelik threat nicely at the start of the event, and it was as good as we like to say. There is the final classifications. Jan Granqvist for Super Venturi, second win of the season from the Maguire. Adriano Opportuni holding off Chris Butcher as the Super Venturis have a bit of fun in the background. Summer Frelik, championship leader, P5 only, falling back ahead of Giuseppe Saracino. There was Bickers in the second Royal Blue, Sandeep Singh, Chris and Pascal, who went hard to soft, the only one to do that, and Senna Stoffman, as we said, in P10. Michael Ayers P11 after a small mistake towards the end. Pascal Polenz P12. Just Verloc in the points all race long in P13. Tom van der Voort P14 for drag racing, and rounding out the points, Mateusz Gazowski, who started down in P21. So Sutton had a penalty that took him outside the points in P16. Roberto Pinataro had contact early on in the race, P17. Chris Gitsov P18. Luke Mitchell involved in that contact, P19, and Oliver Perikian really could never recover from his penalty. Remco Deserve was the last of the finishers. Abin Shurchik did not finish, and then the three that were caught up in the trouble at the start: Maxi Geisinger, Fabian Bala, and Patrick Rojak. So that brings an end to the Austrian Superlights. We will bring in for an interview as per usual. The winner of the race, and that, of course, was Jan Grankvist today. Jan, congratulations. Really good drive. It looked like you committed really early on to a two-stop, and as the race was playing out, we didn't really see what the THRs were doing, but it proved to be perfect in the end. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, thanks very much. It was an interesting race. As you said, obviously committed super early for a two-stopper, and it was actually something that we tested just prior to the race. We were trying to get the soft tires to last until lap 17 and then go on the hard tires, which actually would have worked, but it was just not the fastest strategy. So even though we lost out some time to traffic, it was definitely the fastest strat today, and everything played out well.
Obviously, you've had a few issues through a season so far, but you're still in touch really with the championship, and getting a second race victory of the season as well today. Into the second half of the season, where do you think you stand in that championship battle?
Obviously, it's been quite a hard few races that I last raced in GPV, obviously. Lots of pedal malfunctions and all that, but I've finally got a new setup, which I'm super happy about. Shout out to Overpower Rigs for building this amazing rig for me. It absolutely proved itself today. Felt absolutely in control, and I hope this form continues for the races upcoming this season, because obviously, as you said, still not too far from the lead, so it's very possible that with a couple of wins here and there, I could be at the top.
And how are we feeling about Hungary? Good track for you?
Yeah, Hungary's sort of an interesting one again. Like, I think a few people call it the Monaco without the walls. So it's very high downforce, which seems to suit our car quite well. At least our setup as well tends to prefer higher downforce. So hopefully Hungary will turn out just to be like that. So looking forward.
Well, best of luck for that. Congratulations on the win again today. Jan Grankvist, congratulations.
Thank you.
Right, let's bring in second place man, Luke Maguire, who threatened to make it interesting towards the end. Luke, congratulations on second. Obviously aiming for the win, and it sort of looked like you may have been in between minds on strategy there towards the end. Were you tempted at all by the one stop?
Originally, yeah, that was the goal, but the pace at the start, we were like trying to keep up with Granqvist and trying to conserve the tires, and he gained like 3 seconds on us in the first few laps, and I was like, okay, he's going for the two stop. So then we started pushing as well, and the C2 tire worked out great in the middle there. I probably should have went C2 again, but holding out a bit there lost us kind of that 3 second time we were behind Jan, and but we had to try something different, and I'm just happy to gain points on Frelick in the championship. So Jan can take this, and I'm happy enough for him. It's I think it's his first win this year, is it?
Second, I think.
Oh, second, yeah. Well, fair play to him. He did a great job today.
He won the one that you weren't at. That's why you wouldn't have known. Just going to pick up on the Frelick battle. Your move at the start was really opportunistic. Really, I think I called it cheeky in the commentary. Just how did you see that one opening up? Because obviously they were pretty close through turn 1 and into turn 3 as well.
Actually, Toby kind of just shouted in my ear, just stick it with Grankvist, and Frelick went wide. So it really opened up for me there. I wasn't really going for the move. I was kind of just trying to place my car in a position where it wouldn't get hit or anything. So I think he got some wheel spin on the curb on the way out of that corner. But I think we both wasted about 15 seconds to push the pass down that straight, trying to keep the position. But that kind of probably made the race a lot easier to keep up with Grankvist.
So as you mentioned, you closed in on the championship with Shimon. It was only 26 points before the event. You've missed a race yourself as well, but you got Jan starting to look good over your shoulder as well. What are your thoughts going into the second? Obviously, that was the first part of the second half of the season, but where do you think you stand in that championship at?
I think I'm in a strong position. To be honest, I'm the last two rounds have kind of gone our way now, and hopefully, like I said in the last interview to you, that I think that this is gonna kickstart our championship run. So we're going about it the right way. Jan is definitely someone who we need to worry about. He was always something we need to worry about until he was getting his hardware problems. So yeah, need to push on now and do more laps.
And Hungary, good for you, bad for you?
Should be good. Should be good.
Can't wait to see it. Good
Thank
luck and congrats on P2.
Cheers.
Right, that brings us to the end then of the night. It was breathless action at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time for the Hungarian Superlights. Remember to tune in on Thursday for the Super League. But until then, I'm Ewan Gale. Thank you very much for watching. Tom Stevens was on the cameras, so remember to give him all of the love in the world.